Get ready to dive deep into the art of voice acting auditions with an insight that might just turn your perceptions upside down. Join me as I uncover the secrets shared by Takaaki Saiki, a manager at Amuleto, one of the voice acting talent agencies in Japan, in a seminar that was held in April 2023 in Japan, titled "The Key to Passing a Voice Actor Audition? Try to Not Act Too Well." Let's kick off this episode of Seiyu Lounge. Welcome to Seiyu Lounge. I am your host Vanessa, and today's topic is Seiyu Audition Mastery. Don't try to act too well. The title may make it sound like it is counterintuitive, but it seems that, according to some Seiyu talent agency managers, that this is a mindset. The key to passing a voice actor audition is to not overdo your acting. The episode is based on an article from Anime, to which you can find a link in the description. On March 18, 2023, Takaaki Saiki, the mastermind behind the Meiji's management division and sound production department at the renowned voice actor agency Amuleto, shared his knowledge about Seiyu auditions in a seminar held at a high school in Shinjuku. With a wealth of experience under his belt, Saiki offered precious insights that are often hidden from the public eye. From pivotal audition advice to the secrets of success in the industry, this seminar was a goldmine of knowledge that aspiring Seiyu simply couldn't afford to miss. So let's dive into it. Try not to act too well. In the first segment of the seminar, he unraveled a mindset that is instrumental for success in the Seiyu industry. Saiki emphasized that the pathway to impressing in an audition lies in those crucial initial moments. Your attire, your hairstyle, and even the subtleties of your demeanor, these are all parts of the puzzle that make up that critical first impression. But here's a curveball that might just change your perspective on auditions. Saiki dropped the bombshell that it's better to not act too well. And why is that? Isn't this counterproductive? Seiyu should do their best if they want to get those roles, right? Well, you'd be surprised how that can backfire quickly and is usually the demise for newcomers or inexperienced Seiyu. Saiki said that striving too hard to impress can sometimes backfire. Instead, it's those who truly inhabit the character and become one with the role that leave a memorable mark and get the role. So the focus shouldn't be on impressing with ridiculous techniques or approaches. The key is on fully embracing the character and perform as the character should, flaws and everything. Explore beyond anime and games if you want to grow. When it comes to what should newcomers focus on when they want to debut as voice actors, Saiki encourages everyone to actively do work that isn't exclusively anime and games. Voice actors need a wide range of skills and experiences, and since they have more free time before becoming working professionals, it's essential to be curious about various things, try different things, dive into different passions and embrace them when they are still thinking about becoming voice actors. These may be a big reason why many Seiyu arrive in the industry with not only their talents as voice actors, but also bringing their experience as actors in plays, singers, songwriters, designers, and now even as YouTubers. These experiences broaden the horizons for Seiyu and enable them with the necessary tools to pivot to any type of work that requires their voice. Successful Seiyu can judge the quality of their acting using their own ears. Instead of needing others' feedback, peers or sound directors, for example, a successful Seiyu will be aware of their quality, their strengths and weaknesses. They will know when their voice lacks power or when their intonation was wrong, and will by themselves request a re-recording to ensure they deliver the best. Of course, successful Seiyu will still listen and request feedback on their performances. However, what sets them apart from newcomers is that they do not need others to initiate that conversation. They know they failed. They know they nailed it. Saiki mentioned that to develop this skill, newcomers should listen to orchestras since they offer a wide range of pitches and a variety of instruments, allowing one's ears to be trained. Active listening, something that curiously I use to review music and notice the little details in the compositions, is something that is incredibly useful for voice actors for them to notice the little nuances in their own performances and voices. This is quite amazing. And yet again, as I've said and now Saiki confirmed, these can be trained by having continuous exposure to music and in this case rich performances with a wide variety of music instruments like orchestras have. Practice will make a difference between a seiyuu that knows their quality and one that thinks they do. Make connections with other voice actors. Saiki added that it is important to greet others regardless of their status. From the rookie seiyuu to the veterans, to the superstars or even the sound directors and staff. Everyone is important in your path to becoming a successful voice actor. Since many people come and go in recording sessions, leaving a bad impression on decision makers or producers can have negative consequences for their careers. The COVID pandemic changed things around for seiyuu. Reflecting on the changing dynamics of the industry, Saiki acknowledged that the pandemic shifted the spotlight. As recording environments transformed, established seiyuu received more opportunities because they own studios in their own homes or have money to rent solo studios for themselves, leaving fewer chances for emerging talents that do not have money to own a recording studio or even renting one. However, the pendulum is expected to swing back, offering hope for a brighter future for young aspiring voices, especially now that things have started to normalize in the seiyuu industry. Master the characters you're auditioning for. Saiki unveiled the secret to unraveling a character's essence: context, distance, and relationships. He mentioned that seiyuu should delve into their character's position, posture, and the dynamics with other characters. Voice acting for real, or even during an audition, is not about reading lines. It goes way deeper than that. Anyone can read lines, but not everyone can dive deep into the character's world and live it out through your voice. That is what separates newcomer seiyuu from the stars. And when the scripts have unusual worldviews, Saiki suggested experimenting with unconventional reading styles to match that uniqueness. He advised not to be misled by punctuation marks and ellipses, but to imagine the character's tempo and speak accordingly. Basically, to rewrite the lines in your head to fit how their characters would speak, even if the script's content must remain unchanged. At the same time, contrary to popular belief, voice acting requires acting with the whole body. Few are the seiyuu that when they get to the mic, they do not move an inch when they act and their acting is still good. If you pay closer attention to your favorite voice actors during live reading parts on anime or games events, you will notice that some start acting like their characters, even down to their mannerisms and the eye contact they make with other seiyuu. You'll also notice that those move around a little bit while acting and that they react naturally to the script with gestures or looks. Making conscious physical movements is a big part of voice acting and it vastly improves it. Seiyuu are self-employed despite being part of an agency. In an industry where self-employment is the norm, Saiki's emphasis on self-management was profound. Successful seiyuu are rejected for roles they want. Rookies are rejected for roles they want. A successful seiyuu may be cast in an anime series that ended up being heavily criticized and is fundamentally bad. A rookie seiyuu may be cast in an anime series that ended up being heavily criticized and is fundamentally bad. He encouraged the importance of stress relief techniques, citing that maintaining motivation is key. Saiki added that while luck does play a part in getting roles for anime series, diligent effort paves the way for greater opportunities. So, seiyuu shouldn't burn out or lose their passion due to overwork or how something they worked in has failed to impress. It happens, and how a seiyuu approaches those events, as negative as they may be, is key to becoming successful. At the same time, it is valuable to have hobbies or things to help relax. As I mentioned on several episodes of Seiyu Lounge, Seiyu are only represented by their agency. The work they do is the work they chase after with the help of their managers. So it can be really intense for Seiyu to look for opportunities and even having to prepare those while caring about their own finances. Still, as challenging as voice acting is in Japan, it offers unique and wonderful experiences that ordinary people may not have. Another episode, another interesting dive into the Seiyu industry. This time around, getting the insights of a manager from a talent agency with deep knowledge to share about auditions, the industry itself, as well as the things newcomers have to focus on if they want to become successful. Being a Seiyu is by far not an easy feat. Between the arduous path towards enrolling and graduating from a voice acting school, to grinding every day, aiming to get that very first minor role that turns into a series of those, later on become a supporting role in an anime series, and finally getting their big break as the lead actor, it is not easy. Not to mention basically the industry has changed so much that now looks even play a big role into even being considered for a role. Much has changed in the past couple of years, and instead of things getting easier with time, the role as Seiyu has evolved in a way that is no longer about voice acting alone. It requires multiple experiences and skills. It demands constant learning and practice. That is the only way an aspiring Seiyu can become successful. Now tell me, what do you think about the insights shared in this episode? Did anything surprise you? Let me know in the comments on YouTube. And remember, leave your comments as complex or as simple as they may be, and you can be featured on upcoming episodes of Seiyu Lounge. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss the Hand That Feeds HQ's weekly male Seiyu and music-related content, hit the subscribe button. And if you are listening to this episode on a podcast listening platform, please consider following the podcast and leaving a review. Leaving a review is really simple and helps other people find this podcast and fall in love with male Seiyu artists and 2D groups. I'll return next week with another episode of Seiyu Lounge. Thank you for listening and see you guys around.